have Professor Edward Kavanagh, Professor of Biomedical Sciences.
See my tie, but I'm going to take you from happy to sad. Epigenetic change, oh no! A little background on our health. We have chromosomes. We know chromosomes have long molecules of DNA. And on top of those long molecules of DNA, there's some other proteins. And they guard the DNA. And we know that in our DNA, there are really small segments called genes. And these really small segments called genes control the various functions of our body. For instance, a specific gene is CFTR. It's a gene that gives you a protein that gives you the normal amount of fluid you should have in your lungs. Now, an idea is that if our genes go wrong, we should have disease. And in fact, if you look at CFTR, if there's a substitution, you get a specific disease in a predictable fashion. It's called cystic fibrosis. But when we look at this model and try to explain all the various diseases we really run into, we see this model of genetic change doesn't explain a lot of things. It doesn't explain how we lose our function as we age. It doesn't explain why identical twins get different diseases. It doesn't explain why environmental exposures cause disease. And it doesn't explain why diseases run in families, are common in families, but in unpredictable fashion. What we're coming to know is that something happens not in our genes, but on top of our genes. We start to see, as we age, small chemical tags, 1 or 2 carbons, starting to be added to our genes onto the areas around our genes. These are called epigenetic changes. Not changes in the genes, on top of the genes. And we started to see a lot of great explanation. These tags, as we age, accumulate. And if we don't live right, if we're exposed to famine, or if we're exposed to diabetes, or we smoke, or we take too much radiation, they get more and more and more. They probably explain why we're shut down when we age. The second thing we're discovering about these epigenetic changes is that they're now associated with specific diseases. That if you find a tag in a particular place, even though the gene's not changed, you get that specific disease. And we may not get our genome right, but we have to look at these tags. Now, something that's unique about these tags is that about 3 to 5% are passed down in succeeding generations. Here's a quote: "Your health, or your lack of health, may be due to what your grandmother ate or didn't eat, or did or didn't do. Because if she ate right, few genetic tags. If she was diabetic, she passed on a lot of genetic tags to you, and these tags will predispose you to disease." The other thing that we're seeing, there's a quote I'd like to give you: "Thanks for the famine that drove me crazy and drove my descendants crazy." There's 2 good studies that are out there on the Dutch hunger winter, a very severe famine that happened in World War II, and another called the Barbados hunger study, a very severe famine that happened in the West Indies. And in both cases, not only did the people who were starved have later health problems, their children had health problems, their grandchildren had health problems, because these epigenetic tags were passed down. So I have 2 messages for you. Are you considering waiting to have children to your mid-30s or 40s? Because if you are increasing the likelihood there will be an epigenetic tag on your egg or your sperm that it will make it more likely your child would have, and it's been proven now these tags are associated with autism, attention deficit syndrome, schizophrenia. So if you wait, it probably explains why the amount of autism has been going up in this country. The other is, if we allow a famine to occur in any place in the world, It's not just the children now that are going to suffer. It's their children, their grandchildren, and perhaps their great-grandchildren. And it is a tremendous bad effect. Right now, there is an actual historian looking to see, are there epigenetic tags left over from the great Irish famine that could, and I'm Irish too, that could explain why there are higher levels of mental illness in Irish. And wasn't the British 150 years ago that are to explain why Irish people have higher levels of depression. Well, I told you I'd bring you down, so thank you.